Have you been suffering for a long time? Have you been walking in darkness with no light at the end of the tunnel? Have you been so frustrated with your life? Have you been waiting for many, many years for things to change, but they don't ever seem to change? This word is going to encourage you. I want to read to you today from Luke 8, verse 43 to 48. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you." But Jesus said, "Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." Then the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet. In the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. Then he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." I really love this story because I've read this story for so many times, but every single time God always gives a new revelation. And this is the new revelation God gave me. That even if you're bleeding for a long time, that even if you've been suffering through many trials and tribulations for an extended period of time, that even if you've been walking in confusion, uncertainty, and darkness with no light at the end of the tunnel, that even if you've been trying everything to heal yourself, to save yourself from this situation, your one last hope, your one last faith in the right person, in the right individual, can change the whole trajectory of your life. You see, this woman is not only bleeding for 12 years. During those 12 years, she tried everything. She went to doctors and healers. She spent all the money on those visits to the point where she had no more money left because she tried everything. You know, it's one thing to suffer when you don't even try to save yourself, but it's another thing when you've spent all of your fortunes, all of your money, when you've tried left and right to find a way out and nothing works. This woman experienced that level of pain. And even after all the money that she spent, even after all those 12 years long of suffering, she wasn't healed. But when she found out about Jesus, she had one last hope that she could have been healed. But then another problem arises because everyone is looking for Jesus. Everyone is looking to touch him. Everyone is finding a way to reach out to him. Everyone comes with a need for healing, for this and for that. Everyone is trying to touch Jesus. And she's just one out of many people in the crowds trying to meet Jesus. So she could have had voices in her head that say, "What? You can't possibly meet him, let alone him coming to you and touching you and healing you just like that." There's so many people who are wanting to see Jesus. There's so many people who want to get healed. It's not just you. So who do you think you are to even have faith, to even believe that Jesus would notice you and come and heal you? It's like believing that your favorite artist in a big concert would just somehow notice you out of the crowds and come and approach you and touch you by the hand. You know what I mean? It's impossible. You're just one out of millions of people in the crowds. How on earth can the star of the show notice you and come to you and hold you in the hand? Right? There's no way. It's the same thing for her. It's almost impossible for her to even have faith that Jesus would notice her, that Jesus would come and heal her. But this woman, she didn't let that get in her way. Although she didn't have a big faith. You see, this woman, she didn't believe that Jesus would even come and notice her and touch her by the hand or touch her on the head and just miraculously heal her. She knows that it's impossible. However, she has one little faith, a small looking faith. She believes that if I can just reach the end of his garment, not even the middle of the garment, the end of his garment, I know that I would be healed. It's a small looking faith, but it is a powerful one. And we know that in the story, that because of that faith, she was instantly healed. She could have listened to the voices in her head that say, you can't meet him. He's out of reach. The plan is too complicated. The business is too risky. The people that I have to meet, they're so hard to work with. They're stubborn, can't work with them, can't work in this work environment, can't work in this dynamic. And yet in the midst of her suffering and her pain, she decided to have one last faith. Not a big one. It's not a big one. It's a small looking one. But she decided to have one last faith instead of letting her valid excuses make her give up. She doesn't expect Jesus to come and touch her. She only expects to reach the end of his garment. That's it. The end of his garment. Maybe you can't have faith that your cancer will be gone right away, but have faith that God will still be able to prolong the days of your life and strengthen you, even with this illness in your body. Maybe you can't have faith that you're going to make a lot of money through this job that you just got, but have faith that God will still take care of you and provide for you despite your low income. Maybe you can't have faith that your marriage will be instantly restored, but at least have faith that God is working behind the scenes in your husband's heart, in your wife's heart, and bring her or him closer to Jesus. Maybe it's not going to happen in one day. Maybe it's not going to happen in 1 week. Maybe it's not even going to happen in a year. But believe that it's going to happen one way or another. If you can't bring God a big faith, bring him a small one. Because the Bible keeps saying that your mustard seed faith can move the mountains in your life. Don't underestimate your faith. Don't underestimate your small looking faith. Even if you can only bring a little tiny faith, your one last faith, your one last hope, bring it to Jesus. It's not about how big or small your faith is. It's about who are you bringing your faith to. Because a small faith, the tiniest looking faith, a mustard seed faith, when being brought to the right person, to the right individual, Jesus, has so much power and impact. It will change the whole trajectory of your life. But a big faith to the wrong God, to the wrong person, will not make an impact in your life. So if you have one last faith today, a tiny one, give it to Jesus. Give it to him. Because even your fragile faith has so much power. It has so much power. Your one last faith in Jesus matters. Your one last hope in him matters. Do you know what he's showing you through this story? That despite the crowd surrounding and touching Jesus, Jesus shows through the story that he is the God who notices you. Out of billions and billions of people who are in need right now, crying out his name, asking for healing, asking him for this and for that, he notices you. You and your unique calling. You and your unique prayer. He notices you. You who are in pain for 12 years. You who have tried everything and found no way out. You who only have one last bit of faith. He notices you. He notices your cry, and he doesn't miss a single thing about your life, about your need. There's another verse that I want to read to you. Isaiah 40, verse 26. Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls forth each of them by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. That's crazy. That is one of my favorite verses, because it is showing how God never misses a single thing. If he doesn't miss any star in the sky, why would he miss you? Do you have any idea how many stars there are in the sky? Billions and billions of stars in the sky. And God is saying, I don't miss a single thing. I call each one of them by name, and when one of them is missing, I would notice it. I would know. And in fact, not a single one of the stars in the sky is missing, because God pays so much attention to his creations. And you see, star is not his favorite creation. He didn't die for the stars. He didn't die for the moon. He didn't die for the sky. He died for you and for me. And so if he can't miss one out of billions of stars in the sky, if one star is missing, is there any consequence to it? Is there any danger to it? No, perhaps not. If one out of billions of stars in the sky, I mean, who would even care? Who would even care? It's not going to make a big impact. Like, nobody's going to be affected. No one's life is going to be affected. It's not going to put anyone in danger. But God said, I would notice it, and I would make sure that not even one out of billions of stars in the sky is missing. And star is not his favorite creation. And so if he doesn't miss a single star in the sky, which is not his favorite creation, which is not the creation he most loved, why on earth, how on earth can he miss out on your life and your need and your cry of help? He won't. He can't. He is too attentive. He's too detailed of a God to be able to miss anything in your life. So today I want to encourage you. You're not forgotten. You're not left out. He doesn't miss a single thing about your life, despite the many people that are crying out his name, asking for his needs. You, out of billions, billions, and billions of people in this world, he still notices you. So today I pray that you would give him your one last faith, that you would give him your one last bit of hope. Because as I said earlier, your one last faith, your one last hope in the right person can change the whole trajectory of your life. God bless you all.